Good evening. Welcome to you all. Good to see a few folk online already. The quiz will be beginning at 7 o'clock. Do say hello in the chat. Welcome to Carol and Marjorie. Joined tonight by Jim and Joan, CMJJ. So we've got CMJJ and the Barra Connection. If you've got a team name that you want to let people know about, do pop it in the chat. If you're not seeing the chat, if you're watching directly from the link on the church website, in the YouTube panel where it says YouTube, if you click there, it'll then take you to the YouTube site and you should see the chat on the right hand side. But don't worry if you can't see the chat. You'll have lots of fun anyway. Just we won't know if you were the winner. Four minutes until the quiz will be beginning. Welcome to you all. That's right, you can hear me but not see me yet. You can see me now. And you can see the 10 rounds that we have this evening. Scottish Rivers, the Green Round, Peter, Paul and Mary, countries beginning with C, shapes, All Saints, general knowledge, Flora and Fauna, COP26, and film and theatre. Oh, don't let that frighten you off. Stay, grab a paper and pen or a tablet and stylus or whatever you want to jot down your answers. There will be the 10 rounds. 5 questions in each round, 50 questions. 2 points up for grabs for each question. 100 points between now and the end of the quiz. If you pop something in the chat, your icon will pop up at the bottom of the screen. So do say hello. 1 minute to go. 1 minute to go until the beginning of our October quiz. Are we all set? It's 7 o'clock. It's Friday night, and so it must be time for the quiz of the month. Welcome to you all to our quiz night this evening. 10 rounds, Scottish rivers, the Green Round, Peter, Paul and Mary, countries beginning with C, shapes, All Saints, general knowledge, Flora and Fauna, COP26, and film and theatre. Are we ready to go? So, Scottish rivers, round one. And the first question, the Strontian River flows into Loch Soonart. And there you see a picture of it. Which body of water does the River Forth flow into? Which body of water does the River Forth flow into? Question number 2. The River Avon runs from near Cumbernauld to Grangemouth. Several rivers share the name, derived from the Gaelic Avon, which means what in English? Lots of river Avons in Britain. Derived from the Gaelic. What does it mean? Question 3. At 117 miles, which is Scotland's longest river? The River Clyde runs through which Scottish city? And which Scottish river is the fastest flowing? Which Scottish river is the fastest flowing? So there we go, 5 questions, but have you got 5 answers? Have you got 5 right answers? I'll give you a moment to finalise your answers there, and then I'll tell you what they are, and you can mark yourself 2 points for a perfectly right answer, 1 point if you think you got it part right, and nothing if you got it completely wrong. Are we ready to go for some answers? Heather saying the North US team are all ready. Sheila's ready to go. And Fiona, phew, made it. Welcome to you all. Glad you could make it. Are we ready for some answers? Let's go to the answers. And they are the Firth of Forth, North Sea. If you said either of those, you can have the points. Avon, from the Gaelic Avein, or something like that, it's said. Someone will tell me I didn't pronounce it correctly. It's the Gaelic word for river. So the river Avon is literally the river. And that's why there are so many of them. At 117 miles, the longest Scottish river is the Tay. An easy one at number 4, Glasgow. And the River Spey is the fastest flowing of the rivers. It's the third longest, but the fastest. Okay, so how are we doing after that first round? If you're able to pop your score in the chat, we can share that with everyone. Who's going to be first? Carol saying like Lake in Malawi. Is it not called Lake Malawi? Or a Lake? Maybe I'm missing something there. Okay, someone tell me what you scored. Wow, 10 points. Gobsmacked there from Fiona. Fiona saying, wow, 10 points. Okay. And Carol's got 10 out of 10. And Sheila is saying 10 out of 10. Okay, the next round is called the green round. Coming up to COP26, thinking about climate and all things green, but maybe a few questions about other green things. So your first question is, what word beginning with D describes a tree that is not evergreen? Question 2. Which two primary colours would you mix to create green? Question 3. Often an adjective, sometimes a verb, but where would you find green used as a noun? And every day is a school day. Yep, of course, it did come to mind just after we were talking about that. Nyasaland, Nyasa means lake. So Lake Nyasa, Lake. Back to green. Often an adjective, sometimes a verb, but where would you find green used as a noun? Question number 4. Reverend Green appears as a character in which popular board game? And question 5 in the green round. Barium chlorate is used to produce bright green colours in which seasonal product? And while you're finalising your answers there, I can tell you about a wee run of 8 out of 10s in the last round. Heather there on 8 out of 10. George in Dalgety Bay with an 8 out of 10, and Gordon and Anne, aka Mum and Dad, returning an 8 there. Well done, everyone, on round 1. But how did you do in round 2, in the green round? We'll go to the answers now. Deciduous was the D word we were looking for. Yellow and blue, when mixed, will make green. And you would find green as a noun on the golf course. And I'm sure someone will have come up with something else. If you think you deserve a point, pop it in the chat. Give yourself the point. Reverend Green appears on the Cluedo board. And barium chlorate is what is used in fireworks to create the green, colourful sparks. Yep, every day's a school day. Bowling Green, yep, absolutely. Bowling Green. Got to give you that one. So, Fiona, the first to tell us about a score out of 20 and a very commendable 18. So, do pop your scores if you put it in like that, and say the out of. Well, that was 8 and then a 10, making 18. Okay. George and Eunice at 16 out of 20. Sheila at 18. Carol didn't know about the fireworks. And Mum and Dad on 8 there, which I think brings them to 16 out of 20. 18 out of 20 from Maureen. Mark not joined your team yet. Okay. And Heather's telling us now at 16. Okay, the next round is called Peter, Paul and Mary. And to lull you into a false sense of security, the first question is, in 1963, the American folk group Peter, Paul and Mary released a song about a dragon. What was the dragon's name? Now one to give you a good brain workout. Peter is twice as old as Mary. 7 years ago, the sum of their ages was 31. What ages are they now? So we're looking for two numbers. Peter is twice as old as Mary. 7 years ago, the sum of their ages was 31. What ages are they now? I'll give you a moment to get your head around that one. And we'll listen to the theme tune while you do that. Are we ready to move on? Let's do that. Question number 3. A nursery rhyme which has been around since the 18th century features Peter and Paul as what kind of animals? A nursery rhyme which has been around since the 18th century features Peter and Paul as what kind of animals? Question 4. Peter, Paul and Mary are all names you'd find in the Bible. True or false? And question number 5. Northern Irish athlete Mary Peters is associated with which Olympic discipline? Is it biathlon, triathlon or pentathlon? Give you a choice, making it easy. So that was your 5 questions in round 3. And in a moment, we will go to the answers, and then you'll have a score out of 30. But letting us know how they're doing out of 20, Heather at 16, Jean, that's the Barra connection, with 14 out of 20. Blaming David for not being there for the other 6 marks. And Gordon and Anne at 16. Okay, let's go to the answers for Peter, Paul and Mary. We were looking for Puff the Magic Dragon. Now, if Peter is twice as old as Mary, 7 years ago, the sum of their ages was 31. So 7 years on, each of them is 7 years older. And so we add 14 to get 45. And if Peter is twice as old as Mary, then we've got 2 M's and 1, thirds. So, are you following me? Peter must be 30 to be twice as old as Mary at 15, 45. So 30 and 15 are the 2 ages we're looking for there. Were you all singing it? Or saying the nursery rhyme? 2 little dicky birds sitting on a wall, one called Peter, one called Paul. Fly away, Peter, fly away, Paul. Come back, Peter, come back, Paul. Dicky birds or blackbirds. When the nursery rhyme was first around in the late 1700s, the blackbirds were called Jack and Jill. And later on, they were renamed Peter and Paul, but the nursery rhyme has been around for a very long time. Peter, Paul and Mary you would indeed find within the Bible. Back of the class for anyone who got that one wrong. And Mary Peters is associated with the pentathlon of those 3. So, scores out of 30. And Sheila has a very respectable 26. However, Fiona is telling us of a 28 out of 30. Well done, Fiona. And Jean and Edgar are saying they've got 10 out of 10. Right. So we've got a virtual team there with the Barra connection, yeah? Okay. Carol and Marjorie and Jim and another J are on 28 out of 30 as well. And Andrew, Irene and Maureen with no mark. 27 out of 30. Mark would have known the other 3 points, wouldn't he? Excellent, excellent. Okay. You didn't get confused with the maths, did you? Okay, and a 24 in Bearsden. Okay, so on to the round 4, which is all about countries beginning with C. Countries beginning with C. Which African country has English and French as official languages and is named after the Portuguese word for shrimp? Question 2. Which country's name means rich coast? Rich coast. All the answers are countries beginning with C. Which Mediterranean island country is associated with copper mining and is the setting of Shakespeare's Othello? Question 4. Once joined with Slovakia as Czechoslovakia, which country now has 2 official names? And I want both of them for the 2 points. And the final question in this round, an easy one. Which country's flag features a maple leaf? Which country's flag features a maple leaf? And while you're finalising your answers there, Fiona says David got the ages one. Well done if you got that one. We'll go to the answers in just a moment. In fact, we'll do it right now. The countries we were looking for beginning with C, Cameroon, is derived from the Portuguese word for shrimp. Lots of shrimps around there. And when Portugal discovered the area, it was named after that Portuguese word, Cameroon. Costa Rica, the rich coast. Cyprus. And we were looking for the Czech Republic, which early 2000s reckoned the name was too mundane and came up with Czechia. Both are official names of Czech Republic, Czechia. And Canada, the country whose flag features the maple leaf. Are we ready for another round? This one is called shapes. It's round 5. We're almost halfway. Nonagon is more common, yet enneagon is more correct. To name a shape with how many sides? Question 2. Which of these shapes is the give way sign? Give way sign. Circular, triangular pointing up the way, triangular pointing down the way. Which of these shapes is the give way sign? And you can draw your answer. Are we ready for number 3? When we go to number 3, the picture will disappear. And we're doing that now. What shape is a road sign showing maximum speed? Question 4 asks what name is given to the tube-shaped pasta? And question number 5, how many corners does a heptagon have? How many corners does a heptagon have? Okay, are we ready to go to the answers? But just before we do that, let's catch up with what we're all saying, what you're all saying in the chat. Sheila Larkin. So these are scores out of 40 at the moment. 36 from Sheila, 29 out of 40 for the Barra connection. Jean and Edgar returning a 29 as well. Fiona, only 5 in that last round. That was round 4. And then Dolgetty Bay aren't telling us. A disappointing 30. So you are telling us. Maureen and Irene and Andrew with a 37. Carol, 38. 38. $27 and a 32. So those were scores out of 40. And we're going to the answers for the shapes, which will then bring you to scores out of 50. And hopefully the stream is still getting some error messages about not getting enough video data through. Was all going very well. I think we're still okay. The answers we're looking for, a nonagon, more correctly called an enneagon, is a 9-sided shape, and the giveaway sign is a triangle pointing down the way. The maximum speed sign is, of course, a circle. And the tube-shaped pasta is penny. And how many corners does a heptagon have? It has 7 sides and 7 corners. That was round 5. We're now at scores out of 50. And round 6 is called All Saints. Monday will be All Saints Day. I don't think I've just given you the answer to one of the questions. Let's go to the questions. What do we call the day before All Saints Day? What do we call the day before All Saints Day? Celebrated at the end of November. Who is Scotland's patron saint? What name is given to the day following All Saints Day? And I'm not looking for the 2nd of November. Question 4. Who is the patron saint of music, whose name is used by Glasgow University's Musical Theatre Society? And question 5. Who was the mother of Emperor Constantine and is said to have found Jesus' cross? That was finding the wooden cross on which he was crucified, not finding him quite angry one day. Who was the mother of the Emperor Constantine and is said to have found Jesus' cross? So that was your 5 questions there on All Saints. And just before we go to the answers, some good high scoring going on tonight. 10 out of 10 there. Another 10 from Fiona and David. And Carol and Marjorie and Co coming in with a 48 out of 50. Well done. Jean and Edgar at 39 out of 50. Sheila in Ardgour, 44 out of 50. Dalgety Bay coming in at 40 out of 50. And the Barra Connection enlisting more help, bringing them to 39 out of 50. Well done, everyone. A good high scoring quiz tonight. So the answers we were looking for on All Saints, the day before All Saints Day. You can have the point for All Hallows Eve or Halloween. And Andrew, of course, the patron saint of Scotland, All Souls Day, the day following All Saints, 2nd of November. We're looking for Saint Cecilia, the Sicilian Society, who's been around making musical theatre for 60, if not 70 years. And the mother of the Emperor Constantine was Helen or Helena. Saint Helen, Saint Helena. I don't think you can have a point for saying Tuesday. Okay, that was round 6, and you will now have scores out of 60. And Fiona obviously didn't give herself the 1 point for Tuesday there, but lost some points there. But 8, bringing her to 51. And the Barra connection are only 4 there. Ooh. It's only a game. Sheila on 52. We're better at Saints than Disney. Well done. 10 out of 10. Holding that lead there at 58 out of 60. Jean and Edgar on a 45 out of 60. And Dalgety Bay, that's 45 out of 60. I think you mean. Anyway, let's press on. No, well, that's, yes, it was out of 60. And 43 out of 60 for the Barra connection. Okay, let's go to a general knowledge round, round number 7. And I want you to tell me, what is a baby goat called? Baby goat is called a... What's the name? Oh, Disney one for you, Carol. What's the name of the snowman in the film Frozen? I think that's the only Disney question tonight. Question 3. Which travels fastest, light, sound, or a New York taxi? Question 4. Who is the main character behind the gunpowder plot of 1605? And question 5. Which city, anywhere on Earth, which city has the largest population? Okay, have you got 5 answers to these general knowledge questions? Let's find out if they were the right answers. We were looking for Kid, Olaf, Light, Guy Fawkes, and Tokyo. Did you get all those? I'm sure there'll be some more 10 out of 10s there. Okay, on to round 8, all about flora and fauna. Plants and animals. Badgers live in a set. What name is given to an otter's home? With the scientific name Sorbus acuparia, sometimes known as mountain ash, which berry-producing tree has been very prolific this year? Question 3. Which animal can make the loudest sounds, audible at up to 800 kilometres? Is it the blue whale, an elephant, or the black-headed gull? Which animal can make the loudest sounds? It's one of those three. Question 4. The baby of which animal is called a joey? And question 5. Which bird lays the largest eggs? Which bird lays the largest eggs? That was round 8. And in a moment, we'll go to the answers and you will have a score out of 80. And the answers we're looking for are holt. An otter's home is a holt. H-O-L-T. Rowan. Lots of rowans around this year, also known as mountain ash. The elephant is apparently the animal that can make the loudest noise, a sound that can be heard at 800 kilometres. Kangaroo has a joey, and the ostrich is the bird that lays the largest egg. So, while you're totaling up your scores and popping those in, out of 70 at the end of round 7, Sheila had a 60, Barra Connection with a 10 out of 10, bringing them to 53 out of 70. Carol and Co are at 66 out of 70. Oh, they've dropped another question. Fiona, 8 for a 59. They've snuck in that 1 point again. Heather, 51 out of 70. Dalgety Bay coming in at 51. Mum and Dad at 52. Fiona on 67 with David's help. Oh, and then we're starting to get the out of 80s coming in. The elephant does seem unbelievable, but my internet research on multiple sites confirmed that the elephant can make the loudest of all the animal noises. It's more believable than a blue whale or a gull. Carol and Co at 74 out of 80. Dalgety Bay 57 out of 80. 60 out of 80, just being pipped there on 61. Okay. So we're going to round 9, the penultimate round, and it's a round all about COP26, which of course opens on Sunday, running through until the 12th of November. COP26 will be represented by delegates from 26 countries, true or false? COP26 begins on Sunday the 31st as COI16 ends. What does COI, C-O-Y, stand for? In which city is COP being held this year? But do you know about last year? COP25 took 2 years ago. COP25 took place in December 2019 under the presidency of which South American country? And question 5. Since 1900, sea level on planet Earth has risen by how many centimetres? We're looking for the global average rise in sea level since 1900. 2.1 centimetres, 21 centimetres, or 210 centimetres? Average global rise in sea level over the last 121 years. Okay, that was your 5 questions on COP26. Carol, ever the font of wisdom. Elephants speak to each other by ultrasonic sound that can be heard at 800 kilometres. Sorry, Fiona. It was, you got the 1 point. I'll take it off because you can't spell it. Okay, you can have your 1 point for that. Yeah, but you weren't getting it for Tuesday. Thank you, Carol, says Jean. Okay, let's go to the answers for the COP26 round. COP26, why COP26? Some saying, is it 5 years too early? To which most respond, no, it's 5 years too late. It's the 26th United Nations Annual Summit, which is where the 26 comes from, and it will be represented by delegates from nearly every country on the planet, which numbers around about 200. So it certainly is false. A lot more than 26 countries represented. COP stands for Conference of the Parties, and COI, which is currently meeting and ends on Sunday, is the Conference of Youth. There's a youth conference around climate change, again, a United Nations event. So well done if you got Conference of Youth there. And from that difficult question to an easy one, Glasgow, of course, the city hosting COP26 this year. Last year, or rather December 2019, the COP25 was hosted by Chile. And the answer we're looking for in the rise in sea level over the last 121 years is 21 centimetres. So that will give you a score out of 90. And we bring our quiz towards its end with the final round, which is a film and theatre round. And just before we go there, 75 being returned by Fiona, 65 from Heather, 84 from Carol and Carol and Marjorie and Jim and Joan, CCMJ, with a very respectable score there. Having scrolled back up, I'm catching up now. So that was 84 out of 90 from Carol. Jean and Edgar with 66 out of 90. Barra Connection, 67 out of 90. Carol able to tell us that there's a Church of Scotland young person attending COI 16. That's wonderful to hear that, and to be able to see much of the engagement of young people around the church in COP26. Dalgety Bay, George and Eunice returning a 65 out of 90. Sheila, a dire 2 points. So a 90. At least you got Glasgow right. Okay. We're going to Bearsden first of all for 68. And Fiona saying, Carol, that's great. And it's Tara from Dalgety Bay. Excellent. Makes me feel old when I see all these youngsters from Dalgety Bay that were in Sunday school and Bible class and so on, as young people involved in the life of the church. That's great to hear that. So we are going to the final round, film and theatre, and the Screen Machine is in town today. It's in Strontian, and in fact, earlier this evening was showing the new James Bond film. It's also on tomorrow. Events this evening. And Siri interrupting me. The new James Bond film. I'll go and see it in the back of a truck. The Screen Machine, it folds out and it's just like being in a little cinema. But the question is, what is the name of the new James Bond film that I'll be watching in the Screen Machine tomorrow afternoon? Name the actor who played the father of Indiana Jones in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Question 3. In which of the Star Wars series of films did the furry little creatures known as Ewoks appear? In which of the Star Wars films did the Ewoks appear? Question 4, the second last question of the quiz. Which film company produced Seven Brides for Seven Brothers and Singing in the Rain, and has Leo the Lion as a mascot? And the last question of the quiz. What year was the first Toy Story film released in cinemas? In what year was the first Toy Story film released in the cinemas? And it reached the screen machine about 3 years later. Was the screen machine around then? What year was the first Toy Story film released in the cinemas? Okay, that's the last round. 50 questions, 100 points available, and you've all done very well. We'll go to the answers for that final round. And what I was looking for was No Time to Die. And it was Sean Connery who played Indiana Jones' father in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Return of the Jedi was where the Ewoks appeared. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer is the film company with the roaring lion, Leo, their mascot. And 1995, give yourself a point if you're within a couple of years either side. 1995 for Toy Story. So, 100 points. How are you all doing on the scores there? Do pop them into the chat. Sheila Larkin coming in with a 76 out of 100. And Heather returning a 73. Fiona saying, well done, Donald. No, it was well done, Fiona. In fact, it was well done, David. Well done, David and Fiona, with an 83, a personal best. But we've still to hear from some others. Mark has joined in with. Is that a winning team? No, it's not a winning team. A one-time winner, but not tonight. But a very respectable 87 out of 100 there for Maureen and Irene, Mark and Andrew, and Jean and Edgar coming in at 70. CMJJ 92 out of 100. I think that's the score to beat. Jean and the Barra connection. 75 out of 100. Fiona saying their signal dropped. I think there was maybe a wee glitch at this end as well. I did say you could have 1 point if you were a couple of years either side of 1995 there. Jean, just two of you. From the Barra connection. Elizabeth, 59 out of 100. Adele says more Harry Potter, please. Can't please everyone. Too much Disney, too much Harry Potter, too many animals, too many maths things. You all did very well tonight. Mum and Dad, well done with a 74 there. And well, Grace agrees. Yeah, they missed you earlier on, Mark. 71 out of 100 from Doggetti Bay. Yeah, we'll see and get some Harry Potter back in for next time. You need to swat up on that, everyone. So will I. Good fun and good chat tonight, folks. Yeah, and thank you for all your contribution. Another great quiz. It was. If you've enjoyed it half as much as I have, then I've enjoyed it twice as much as you. If you have enjoyed tonight, that is terrific. If you feel moved to make a wee contribution to your local parish church, then you can do so at churchofscotland.org.uk/donate. And if you are wondering which church you might support, then Strontian is looking at a hefty roof repair bill. If you would like to make a wee contribution somewhere, and over the next couple of weeks there will no doubt be many opportunities to contribute to some climate change, climate justice issues, and I commend all those to you. Lots of things happening over the coming weeks with COP in Morvern in Loch Allen at the Village Hall. A week tomorrow, the 6th of November, we have Messy Church happening there. Lots of things happening around the Morvern community, and it's been great that the church has been able to be involved in that. If you're around that neck of the woods, do check out the Facebook page. On Sunday in Ardgour, we are returning to, hopefully it will be monthly cafe church, but not as you know it. And there'll be bacon rolls, there'll be coffee, there'll be some informality, there'll be music, there'll be prayers in different ways. We'll be thinking about change, climate change. We'll be remembering that it's Reformation Sunday, an opportunity to think of the importance of always reforming and always changing. And it is, of course, the eve of All Saints' Day. So lots of different things to think about on Sunday. And remember to put the clocks back on Saturday night, Sunday morning. I've enjoyed tonight. I hope you have. Good night. God bless you all. Sleep well. It's only 8:10. You've still got lots of time to go for that. That's how I always finish the 10 o'clock evening prayers on a Wednesday live on Facebook. A number of folk regularly following that. So good night. God bless you all. Have a great weekend. Bye.